Good morning, guys. Welcome to Monday Mantras. So, I trust you had a fantastic weekend. Um, we did. We had a wonderful time. Did lots and lots of work. Did some interesting development work. Okay, so today we're going to be speaking about something that's really important for trading, but is not logical. You wouldn't logically associate. For example, you wouldn't logically associate the amygdala with trading, or the frontal cortex, or the frontal lobe, or the frontal cortex of the brain with trading. But yet they are so important, or even the heart with trading. But they are so important, and we are triggered by one or any of them at any one time in our trading. So, what I'm going to talk about is there are essentially three states. There are a lot more, but I'm going to talk about three particular states that we would be in when we're trading, and how we respond to trading in the charts and our relationship with trading and therefore our results. So the first one is driven very much from the amygdala, or some people might say the reptilian brain, which is at the base of the back of the head. But I don't, this topic we can go really deep into. In fact, we could speak all weekend, or a whole 2-day workshop on just brain states. Okay, so I'm going to really speak about it from a high level, just to give you an idea, and enough for you to identify where you are at any given time in your trading. So the one is the amygdala, and that when that's triggered, that is. It's a fight or flight type of trigger. It releases adrenaline to the body, cortisone. It reduces, it increases like a state of heightened awareness, panic, and so on. And then there is the frontal lobe, the logic, the where the decision making is, where you see multiple perspectives on things, and that's like very much what I would say is the 20 in the 80-20 rule of trading. That is where the 20 is. That's where the act of trading, where we know which strategy to trade at any one time, and the act of actually placing the trade and putting in the stop loss and the take profit. That's the logic side of it. And then the other side is the heart base. Is when we are working our brain from the heart. So they're the three they're very broad categories, okay? But that's what I want to speak about. And they're very broad categories for traders, and you'll fall into one of those three. It's very much like in life as well. Like, as you can imagine, a homeless person would definitely be living their life from the amygdala, from a fight or flight type of state, where they need to they're on high alert all the time. They're running to pleasure and away from pain. That's essentially what the amygdala does. And then you've got people who are doing very manual type of work, very manual, repetitive work, or logical work, will be very much sort of frontal lobe driven. And then you've got people who are inventors and futurists, thinkers, sort of like entrepreneurs who are creative. The creatives as well. They'll be very much run on their brain will be operated from the heart state. Now, in trading, the more polarized you are about your trading, the more you are going to be reacting and interacting to your trading from the amygdala. Now, the impact that will have is that you will always need to be right. That is the impact that it will have, trading from the amygdala. You're going to need to be right. Therefore, and it's also going to trigger a sense of running to pleasure and away from pain. So running to pleasure in this example would be, getting infatuated with your winning trades and needing to win, and needing to be right. And every time you lose a trade, it's a chronic disaster. It's the end of the world. And that's flying in the face, or it's defying your need to be right. And you're going to be running from pain. You're going to be blaming the strategy, blaming the charts, blaming the market, blaming anything but yourself. Because you cannot, anything to do with money, anything to do with building wealth, cannot ever be successfully driven from the amygdala state. There's no ways it can't be, because especially in trading, you can imagine you can't be right. The market's always right. How can you, just one little person in a sea of thousands of other people who are trading, be right when the market is a $5 trillion business machine a day? It's not possible. Okay. When you find yourself triggered by the amygdala, where you've got this fight or flight reaction, where this cortisol and adrenaline is being released into your body, what actually happens is it shuts down your frontal lobe. It shuts down your logic. All logic goes out the window. That's why you'll find yourself, I have no idea why I took that trade. Now, I've just been through a whole bunch of my traders in the tribe of traders. I've been through their trades. And for the past couple of weeks, as part of a program called Tech Intensive we're doing. And I mean, there's been massive, development in a lot of their trading. And to the point where so many of them are now consistently profitable. But now and again, I see the trade they took, and I think, what was that? I mean, what was that? Seriously, it was just like, where did that trade come from? And that's when they would say, I have no idea why I did that. No idea. They can't relate to why they would have placed that trade. And that in that moment, they were triggered by the amygdala. They were triggered by the need to be right or wrong. That's when the adrenaline and the whole fight hormones came out, and their logic shut down, and access to the multiple perspectives shut down as well, and they reacted. And you're always going to be reacting out of fear. That's a low vibrational state. You're never going to see all the perspectives. You're always going to make a mistake. You're always going to make the wrong decision, because in that state is applicable. If you are living on the streets, you're going to need that, right? If you're homeless, you need that to protect yourself. If you're in a disaster, you need that to protect yourself, but it has no place in our normal life. It has no place in our normal home life, our work life, our relationships life, our wealth building life. It has no place. So that is the one thing to be aware of. It triggers everything that's going to keep you from being successful in your trading or in any wealth building activity. Do you know what? It'll also keep you from having a loving, intimate, rewarding, fulfilling relationship as well. Because every time you're triggered in your relationship, it will trigger the amygdala, and you will respond in a fight or flight way. And here's the thing. Have you ever had an argument with your partner, and then later on, when you resolved it and you made up and you're having a discussion about it, and the partner says, but you said this, you did this, and you say, no, I didn't. That's not what I said. That's not what I meant. Because it affects your memory as well. That's why people can't remember when they put a trade on that came from being triggered by the amygdala. They can't remember what they were thinking at the time. It totally impacts your memory and your memory recall as well. So you're not trustworthy in that moment. So if you're finding yourself reacting from the amygdala in any area of life, it's going to be destructive unless it is a genuine disaster situation. Then it has its place, but only then. Then I want to go on and speak about the that's the one thing. If you're able to manage your amygdala response in trading, that's great. That's wonderful. You are a long way to progress, right? That's a great thing. There's where you accept that when you identify that is being triggered, you then take certain steps. Either you walk away, or you take proactive steps to calm that. Meditating might help, being mindful, having mindfulness, or being in a mindful environment, being completely present. Triggering as well is what I say. Well, for me, that's being charged. You're being charged by whatever it is that's charging you at that moment, or being triggered by that moment. How's it serving you? What's the benefit to it? What is the worst that can happen if you don't react to it? Okay, so just becoming aware of it is a massive step. But then you get people who are able to manage that amygdala response, and then also trade from the frontal lobe, from the prefrontal cortex area of the brain. And then that is where you're dominated by logic. Okay, and you see multiple perspectives that are in front of you. You see the opportunities that are there in front of you. You are able to consistently even be practical about your trading, and be consistent in that practicality as well. And you will, you'll know which strategy to trade, on which charts and at what time, and so on. So it'll be very logical. It's what I call the 20 of the 80-20 rule of trading, and that's great. You're not going to be all over the place. You'll certainly be a lot calmer in your trading. You will also you'll have less stress as well, and it won't be as fearful. Trading won't be as fearful for you. But here's the thing. Trading, being money, is energy. All right? And if you money and energy is another whole topic, and I've covered that many times on these podcasts. I've covered those many times, but and I will continue to do so, but as a separate topic. But money and energy are the same, and that's not where you're going to from the frontal lobe or from the prefrontal cortex. That's not where you're going to access energy. You're going to access the energy from the heart space. You're going to access the opportunities that are not obvious. You're going to access the multiple perspectives that are not obvious from the heart. And that's when you're connected with a deeper sense of self, a higher self, the universal consciousness. There's so many ways in which you can explain it, but it's more than just the logic of what you see in front of you. It's a heart space. It's very, very, very calming. That is where you're being consciously competent in that moment. You're connected with yourself. Your heart is running your brain, and that's where you start seeing not just the multiple perspectives that's in front of you, but also the multitude of perspectives that are not obvious to you in that moment, and you will respond in that. You will respond to your trading and the charts from that state, and that is why so often the super traders will tell you that they will trade certain instruments or at certain times out of an intuitive sense of knowing. And it's something that I know that's something that how I trade. Often I will I'll have charts that meet the rules, the basic rules, the logic of the 20 in the 80-20 rule of trading. The logic, it will meet the rules. There is no reason why not to take the trade, but something will say to me, don't take it. In my heart, it'll be a feeling in the seat of my heart. It'll be a feeling that I say, that is not the right setup. and I'll leave it, and you come back and you can see why. If you were to ask me at that moment in time, why not? I wouldn't be able to tell you. It's just a feeling. The same, I will have other experiences where I'm looking at a chart, and it might not be, from a logical perspective, may not be the optimal, but I'll have a sense that it is the right one to take. I'll ask you a question. Have you ever had a situation where you regretted not following your heart, not following your intuition? So why don't we in trading do that? It's no different. And that is what the 80 is all about in the 80-20 rule of trading. It's that state that we need to be in to trade powerfully, consistently, and to get not just results, not just like when you're trading from the prefrontal cortex, from the logic, from the frontal lobe. When you're trading from there, you're going to have one of two experiences. You're going to you are either going to just about scrape through, right? Consistently, you'll just about scrape through, or you're going to 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 4 steps back, over and over and over again. There's one of the two you're going to have. When you're trading from the amygdala, the fight or flight, and you're driven by stress and the need to always be right, well, there's no way you're going to experience any form of success at all. Okay, that is out. You're absolutely wasting your time, you're wasting your money. You might as well go and rather do work on yourself than do anything, because that is you're going to find yourself living in conflict and chaos in all areas of your life. But in order to achieve your monthly targets, in order to be consistent with your trading and consistently, at least get 6% in your trading per month, which at the end of the day, guys, that's doubling your account every year. But that, so it's not a bad target to go for. So in order to get that consistently, that requires the trading from the heart, as I call it. Okay, I know some people might find that a bit odd, a bit of an odd concept, but it's essentially it's using all the resources of your mortal body in this universe. I mean, it's using the energy that we're connected into in the universe. It's very, very powerful. Why not use it? It's free. Why not use it? And guess what? If you don't believe in it, that's okay. Why not just give it a go? Why not just try it? What have you got to lose? Because you read anything about the super traders, you read about any of the traders in Jack Schwager's book, for example, you read about, oh my gosh, Ray Dalio. He is the most successful hedge fund trader in the world ever in history. And you read about him, and he will tell you that it's mindfulness that helps him. It has helped him and continues to help him achieve the success he's had in his trading and everything he's done in his life as well. That mindfulness, that presence, be present. So this is what I'm going to ask you to do. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? It may sound alien to you. I've had people one of our coaches, Kevin, he said when he first heard me talk about heart-based trading, he wanted to just walk out the room because he thought I was absolutely nuts. And today his life has transformed completely because he took it on board, because he asked himself, well, whatever I've been doing up until now hasn't worked. So maybe this has got something in it. So he took it on board, he embraced it, and he's now reaping the rewards of that. So how do you get there? How are you going to do that? And the first thing is you need to be present. You need to know yourself and identify. And my mentor, Dr. John DeMartini, he's my mentor. And he has, one of the most powerful things I learned from him was the quality of your life is dependent on the quality of questions you ask yourself. When he first said that to me, I had no idea what he was talking about. I couldn't understand. I could not understand the depth of how powerful that is. But over the years, I have learned how critical it is to just ask yourself questions, constantly asking yourself questions. You can only fool yourself to some extent at some of the time. At some point or other, you get tired of fooling yourself, and you start getting honest with yourself. And the quality questions you need to ask yourself when you're sitting down about to trade is, how am I feeling? What is my state? What am I thinking about? Are you charged? Am I triggered? Am I in fight or flight? Am I in high stress mode? What is my state? And then consciously get yourself into a calm state. Connect with your heart. Now, you can do that through meditating. You can do it through mindfulness. You can do it through what I call being consciously competent. That being consciously competent in trading is vital. A lot of people talk about you need to get to a point where trading becomes unconsciously competent. That is operating from the frontal lobe. Being unconsciously competent, where you're doing things by rote, like driving a car, which is okay to do that, driving a car. Although to be honest with you, I think the more consciously competent we are in all areas of life, the better. But there's some things that you can do by rote that don't require necessarily a more heart-based brain activity, but certainly trading requires conscious competence. It needs you to be very aware of self, very aware of your environment, very aware of the market, and being receptive to what the market is telling you. Now, when I say that to people, they don't understand what I'm talking about, but I say it over and over again. Do not go there looking for trades, because that's being run from your frontal lobe. That's the act. Keep that for the actual act of placing the trade. Okay, don't go looking for trades, because you are in that process. You are literally flooding what you're seeing with your own beliefs. Okay, there's no place for that. Allow yourself to being receptive to what the market is telling you. It's a subtle, and some may say semantic difference, but it's powerful. That is the secret and the difference between being successful, consistent, and achieving your goal and not. The other thing is, either whether you are being triggered by with the amygdala in your trading, or in any area of life, guys, anything I've spoken about today is not just about trading, it's about any area of life. That's why trading is the gift that keeps on giving, because it highlights to us what is going on in our life, what is going on for us in that moment, and what's going on in our life. It's a mirror image. The other thing is, if you are being triggered by the amygdala when you're trading, lose the friggin' story. Forget it. Lose the story. Let go of the story. Lose the judgment. The same with any area of life, with your boss, with your staff, with your clients, with your partner, with your children, with your parents, whatever it is. If you're being triggered in any area that's engaging the amygdala, lose the story. Stop judging. It's because you're polarized. The more polarized you are, the more you're going to be triggered, the more you're going to have judgment, and the more you're going to have absolute conflict, chaos, and drama in your life. Lose the story. Let go of the judgment. How does it serve you? How is it guiding you back onto the path of you being able to live life to the fullest expression of your potential? At the end of the day, guys, that's what we're all here for, isn't it? We're here for the shortest time. Why not give ourselves everything that we can to allow us to live life to the fullest expression of our potential? It's our God-given right to do that. And what I have just given you here today is powerful information for you not only to transform your trading, but also any area of your life that you're not fully empowered in, that has conflict or chaos in it. Use this, and that will help with that area as well. When you do that, it will also powerfully help your trading. Trading will highlight to you all the time the weaknesses that you have, the areas of your life that you are not empowered, you're not in control of. That's the beauty of trading. It highlights it for you, and you have a choice. You either deal with it or you don't. If you don't deal with it, I would strongly suggest you stop trading, because you will never get the success. All you're going to do is be miserable. So stop trading. But if you are prepared to take it on board, to do the work, to really get to know yourself, to ask yourself those quality questions, to being present, to allowing yourself the opportunity to unlock the power of your heart and allow that to mobilize your brain and work in alignment with the heart and brain together, you are unstoppable. And the fruits of that will be beyond what you can imagine in your wildest dreams. I promise you, I swear it, I put my life on it. I have seen it too often, and I have done it myself. So today's Monday mantra: I follow my heart. I follow my heart. Have you ever regretted following your heart? Okay, guys, take care. Have a wonderful day. Chat to you soon.